Aloha, it's Robert with Lucan. This is kind of a follow-up video to our foot strap video, just how we position the mast in relation to the foot straps. So depending on the conditions and the waves and the foil you're riding, instead of changing the foot strap position on the board, a lot of times it's easier to change the mast position on the board, so you don't have to move your foot straps around. And you can see here on mine, I'm kind of standing, my back foot's kind of more or less on top of the mast. So what about you, Eli? Looks like your foot is a little bit behind the mast.
Yeah, with these more higher aspect wings, I like my foot a little behind. You can get a little bit more weight behind the mast, easier to kind of pop wheelie, almost like you're ollieing a skateboard. With the mid or lower aspect wings, I'll slide this back to get my foot directly over the mast. There's a little bit more lift on those. That's kind of how I adjust it. But I don't really play around. I try not to move my foot straps at all.
What about you, Derek?
Yeah, I just keep, the majority of the time I just keep the straps at the same spot and just move the straps to, if I need more lift, I'll just go ahead and pick that up. So I use, I put an attachment on Rob's belt. He has a little attachment, and in here I have my little tool, which I'll just, in the water, I'll go ahead and just, adjust, unscrew, slide it front or back, whatever's needed, and then tighten them up, and then just get back on the water. But majority of the time, not too much adjustment needed, but if you need to, that's what I go ahead and do. And if I need more lift, I'll slide the mast forward a little bit, but not too much. Maybe if you do want to do it, just go like 1/4 inch increments. Don't go too wild. Like if you go a 1 inch or a whole inch forward, that'll throw everything all off. Just go with small little ones.
And I would say it probably also depends a little bit on body weight and stuff, like where you have to position. Like Derek's pretty light, so for you to keep the foil down on a fast, bigger wave, you really have to put your weight forward, right? And then so you can see Derek's foot straps kind of a little bit in front of the mast versus Eli. Got a little bit more weight, so it's easier for you to keep that foil down when you're going fast, and then having it a little bit further back. It's basically the way you want your feet to be positioned is so that you just have even pressure on both feet most of the time. Like when you're riding at a normal speed, you want to be just kind of balanced right over the top of the foil. You don't want to have to lean on your back foot or lean on your front foot. But then, if you start going super fast, you might have to lean forward, or if you want to lift the foil, you might have to lean back. But just where it's nice and balanced evenly between both feet, right? That's the goal, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a little video about where to place your feet. Thanks for watching. See you on the water. Aloha. Yeah.
Big arm.
There we go. All right, Derek, what are you up to? You switching wing size?
Yeah, trying to see what I'm going to ride today. You got the more cord, which is this way,
Yeah.
or going with the width.
So what about the surface area? Like this one's a little bit more surface area, yeah? Or
I think the calculations, this one is more 1050 and this one is 1000.
oh, okay. So this
just,
one actually has less surface area but more wingspan.
Yeah.
So how do they handle differently?
This one just hovers a lot. At slower speed, you can kind of just cruise along. This one is a lot thinner and faster.
Oh yeah. So you can see the thickness is thinner on this one. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. I might go try this one. This is the newer designs they have with GoFoil. They have the little step designs to prevent the cavitation from actually running across the whole blade.
Yeah.
So probably go give this a try.
Okay.
I was running this yesterday, felt really good, but I'll also bring it to the beach with me, and just in case, gotta come in and change.
Okay. What about the tail wing? You just using the same one on both wings, front wings?
Yes. When we're towing, I use that other like upturn for more tracking. This one is kind of a custom deal that they made. It was like a prototype and nobody else liked it except me and Eli. But I really like it.
Do you use this one too, Eli?
Yep, that's the same one I got. Same setup as Derek.
Okay, so you got the same setup that Derek's setting up right now, exactly the same?
Yep. RS 1000 and the prototype, the flat tail prototype.
Your
It's
tail looks
14.5.
nicer than Derek's, unless you look at the bottom.
You chipped right here.
Oh, gnarly. Yeah. Like a lot of times beginners think something like this is going to really affect performance. And they take like hours to repair it. Like, it's not really worth it.
Yeah, it still works. Even if you got scratches on your foil, it still works.
Yeah.
Dings here and there.
Yeah, my foil is pretty beat up too. This is my foil. I actually just ended up sanding the tip down because it was so rough. Just took some sandpaper to it, but pretty scratched up. And still works fine though.
This one got a few scratches too, not too bad.
This one still looks good. Okay, so as you can see, all three of us are using pretty high volume boards. I think Eli's board is about 90 liters, mine is 78 liters. So pretty thick boards for short size, but thick volume, high volume boards. And Derek's board too is pretty high volume for his weight. And I'm just gonna play a video that we already posted on YouTube a few weeks ago. This is a session with myself and Derek riding on the North Shore, and we're gonna add some comments on mast placement and so on, and foot placement in relation to the mast placement and so on. So, obviously if you're riding waves, speed is really important. You want to have enough speed to be able to keep up with the wave and not have too much lift when you're going faster. Like basically what happens if you have a really big wing, a big foil wing that creates a lot of lift at lower speeds, then or it has a thicker profile. Sometimes it can be hard to control it once you get on a wave and you get that extra speed. And trying to keep up with the wave on a big wing like that can be hard because it just wants to start breaching. So using a thinner, faster, smaller foil size is kind of important when you want to ride waves. And then the positioning is really important too. So actually I'm going to replay this section right here. So here on this bottom turn, I think I'm leaning a little bit too far back, and you can see the tip of the foil kind of come out a little bit. I'm coming up a little bit too high, and here I almost lost it, so I really had to kind of lean forward and keep the foil in the water. Luckily I was able to keep it in the water. But basically one of the hard things when you're on a wave sometimes, especially coming straight down the face, is just keeping the foil in the water. Sometimes you really have to put your weight forward. So when I'm surfing, riding waves, I do want to make sure that the foil is pretty far back, or my weight's pretty far forward with the foot straps, so that I'm able to keep that foil down. That's a lot of times the hard part. But then at the same time, you also want to be, like I said earlier, kind of balanced between your 2 feet. If you're riding at regular speed, you don't want to have to be leaning back on your back foot to keep the foil up. You should be just kind of balanced where you kind of get an equal workout on both legs. So if at the end of the session your back foot is really sore, it's probably because your foil is a little bit too far back, or your feet are not far enough back, because basically if you're leaning back always, then that means your weight is too far forward. So if you're testing a new setup that you haven't tried before, like Derek says, it might be a good idea to bring a tool with you on the water so you can make some adjustments on the fly. And yeah, keep in mind that making very small adjustments, like a 1/4 inch, can make a significant noticeable difference. So don't move it like an inch at a time. That's usually way too much. Very small adjustments in the foot placement or in your mast placement will make a big difference in how it balances out. So, but if you do use foot straps, you have to have that mast exactly in the right place. And once you find a good placement for a certain foil wing in relation to your foot straps, I like to make a little mark on my board so I remember exactly where I had that, and use that same setting next time I use that same setup.
So yeah, so those are a few pointers on mast placement. I hope that's helpful. Thanks for watching once again, and hope to see you on the water soon. Take care. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Blue Planet Surf on YouTube. Aloha.